Married to a stranger in Paris. A love I never chose. What happens when your parents trade your future for their past mistakes? And you find yourself married to a man you've never loved. Isabella had always dreamed of love stories that began with flowers, late-night calls, and a slow dance under the stars. But her world collapsed when her parents announced she would marry Daniel, a wealthy stranger in Paris, save their crumbling reputation. She tried to fight back, but the decision had already been made. As she sat in her room, tears soaking her pillow, she couldn't believe her life had become a transaction. The man she was forced to marry wasn't just a stranger, he was the son of her father's oldest rival. On the wedding day, Isabella's trembling hands clutched the bouquet. When Daniel lifted her veil, she saw no smile, no warmth-only cold eyes that mirrored her own resentment. It wasn't love. It was survival. The guests cheered, but deep inside, Isabella's heart sank. She was trapped in a golden cage, tied to a man who didn't want her either. The Parisian mansion she moved into was breathtaking, yet it felt like a prison. Marble floors, crystal chandeliers, and designer furniture surrounded her, but all she felt was emptiness. Daniel barely spoke to her, disappearing for long hours and leaving her with unanswered questions. Each dinner was a quiet war, forks clinking but words unsaid. Isabella began to wonder if silence would destroy her before the marriage did. One rainy evening, Isabella escaped to a cafe in Montmartre, where she met Adrian, a struggling artist with paint-stained fingers and a smile that warmed her soul. For the first time in weeks, she laughed. Their conversation flowed easily, and for a brief moment, she forgot her forced vows. But as she returned to the mansion, guilt gnawed at her. She was a married woman, and Adrian was the escape she shouldn't want. One night, curiosity got the better of Isabella. She followed Daniel and discovered him in a private meeting with lawyers. The words, family debts and inheritance, echoed through the room. Her heart clenched. Was she just a pawn in Daniel's attempt to rebuild his family empire? She realized they were both prisoners of legacy, forced to carry the weight of their parents' sins. When Isabella confronted Daniel, the walls finally broke. They shouted, accused, and hurled words that had been buried for weeks. She accused him of using her, while he called her naive. Yet in that storm of anger, something shifted. For the first time, Daniel looked at her not as a burden, but as a woman with fire in her soul. Meanwhile, Adrian confessed his feelings. He told Isabella he couldn't stop thinking about her, that she deserved love and freedom, not chains of duty. His words lit flames she had long buried. But Isabella's heart was torn between the man who awakened her spirit and the husband she had sworn to hate. Daniel began to notice her absence, the sudden light in her eyes whenever she returned from her escapes. For the first time, jealousy cracked through his cold exterior. He realized he didn't just resent her. He was beginning to want her. And the thought terrified him. At a grand Parisian gala, Isabella walked in with Daniel, dazzling in a crimson gown. The world saw perfection, but behind the smiles were hidden wars. Adrian showed up uninvited, pulling her aside to remind her of the freedom she deserved. Daniel watched from across the room, his jaw tight, his heart burning. Daniel discovered Adrian's letters tucked inside Isabella's journal. His rage was volcanic. He confronted her, demanding to know if she had betrayed their marriage. Through tears, Isabella admitted she longed for love, not wealth. Her honesty cut him deeper than any affair could have. Just when things couldn't get worse, Isabella's father appeared in Paris. He reminded her of the reason behind the marriage debts, alliances, reputation. He warned her not to ruin everything. Isabella realized her life had always been orchestrated by others. For the first time, she decided to take control. She confronted Daniel once more, but this time with strength. I will not be a pawn. If this marriage is to continue, it must be built on choice, not chains. Daniel was stunned. For once, the fiery woman before him wasn't his prisoner, she was his equal. Daniel finally revealed his own scars. He admitted he never wanted the marriage either, but seeing her courage changed him. For the first time, he whispered words that melted her anger. "I don't just need you for my family's empire. I need you." Isabella's tears fell not from pain, but from the birth of something new. Months later, Isabella walked hand in hand with Daniel through the same Paris streets she once roamed in loneliness. Adrian had left, leaving behind only a painting of her smile. Their marriage, once a battlefield, had become a garden. Love hadn't come the way she dreamed, but it came through fire, and that made it real.